Moin Moin and welcome to Ralfs Foto-Bude. Yeah, some weeks ago I presented you the Olympus PEN E-P5, the new system camera or camera with interchangeable lens from Olympus. It replaces the EP3, some of the oldest models of Olympus system cameras. They have the EPL5 as the newer model and the EPM2, the small one, also the newer model, and the OMD, so that's the biggest one and the professional system camera from Olympus in the Micro Four Thirds format. Now I have the test finished of the EP5. Some weeks ago I presented a pre-model and it wasn't finished already, and now I have the final model of the Olympus EP5. So this is the camera. You see in the top of the front side they have the Olympus PEN sign, so that's a reminiscence of the old Olympus PEN, the first Olympus PEN camera. If you look on my review on my internet site www.ralfsfoto-Bude.de, you will see there are two cameras, the old one and the new one, side by side, and so you can compare the old and the new one. So they look really nice. And I like the finish, I like the design. It's clean, straight, but a little bit old-fashioned. It's very good in my hand. I can take the camera very good in my hand. It has a real nice size. The weight is perfect, so it fits already perfect into my hands. Yeah, so today I will show you some of the most important features and the new features of the Olympus PEN E-P5. First, I want to show you the difference of the size between the P5 and the PL. PL stands for light, PL5 of Olympus. So here are the two models. This one is the new, this one is the EPL5. You see, it's a little bit less high, it's a little bit less wide. So the P5 is a little bit bigger, and for sure also it's a little bit more heavy in your hand, but still a nice small camera which fits in a small photo bag, and you can carry it with one or two extra lenses. I like it very much. I like the size and the weight very much. So let's have a look to the most important features of the Olympus PEN. On the front side we have the internal flash. It pops out if you press the flash button on the back side. So it's nice to have internal flash for a little bit more light if you have a situation where you take pictures against the light, so it can light up the face of a person a little bit. One thing, you can't move the flash backwards, so you can't use this one for indirect flash over the ceiling. It only goes straight in front, so you can you can move up the flash a little bit. So let's put the flash in. Then we have the external flash shoe, and for sure that you may know this from Olympus, you can put some accessories in the flash shoe, like an external electronic viewfinder, LED light and stuff like this. So I will show you later the electronic viewfinder, because they have a new one, a real nice new one, electronic viewfinder, which you can combine with the EP5. Then we have the program dial, we have for sure PASM, then we have the movie function, then we have a nice function where you can combine some pictures. I'll show you later how this will work. You have the scene mode, art filter, and auto, where the camera makes all the stuff by herself, like aperture, shutter speed, ISO, and so on and so on. Then we have the shutter release function button and the on-off switch. And then I show you the first nice thing. We have two dials, one on the back side and one on the front side. So these are the two dials you may know from the OMD. The OMD has also two dials, but they are on top of the camera, and they are now built in the body, a little bit less significant. So, but one big advantage: if you hold the camera, you can turn the front dial with your finger and the back dial with a thumb, and you can hold the camera very firm in the hand, so it's very nice to use these both dials. And one important thing, the two dials, you have a small lever here, this one with 1 and 2, and the good thing, you can change the settings of the two dials by just putting the lever from 1 to 2. I'll show you later in a program mode how this will work, because it's very nice and a very neat function. On the back side we have the usual buttons, the 4-way button and the OK button. Then we have the menu button, info button, trash and replay button. And again, the display is a turnable display. You can turn it up 90 degrees in this direction and 45 degrees in this direction. And one good thing, it's very good in the body of the camera, so it won't come out if you moved it in. It's very nice. It has a very nice line. If you compare it to the EPL5, you will see there the screen is a little bit more heavy, a little bit thicker, so it's not this real nice form and hasn't the real nice design of the EP5 like this one. So let's start the camera. We have the on-off switch here on top, as I showed before. Just turn the camera on, and if you use the kit lens, it comes the message that the lens is locked and please extend the lens. So if you see on the side there is a small switch, but you don't have to move the switch, just turn the lens, and if you're on the right way, here we are, the zoom lens starts and you see the picture on the back side of the screen. If you use a lens like the 12mm lens, fixed focus lens, 12mm, this message won't come, because then the camera is directly ready to start. So this is the screen. You can change by pressing the info button between the different settings of the screen. You can customize the settings of the screen. You see there's nothing on the screen, only the picture. And one good thing, you have the 3D level meter. You see here we have the horizontal, and here on the side we have the vertical. So it's very nice. You have the 3D level meter. And for sure, you have the sign is here. You have the touch screen, so you can change between touch focus and between the touch shutter release. So if you press the button, if you press on the screen, the camera immediately takes a picture. Just go to the point which you want to have sharp in the background. Go there, and you see the background is sharp and the front is defocused. So, and you can change if you only want to have the focus but not the shutter release. Just press and you see the sign changes, and now here we go. You only have the focus. If you press on the screen, the camera focus on the point where you press. You can change the setting of the size. You can change, you have different autofocus mode. You have the manual focus mode, and very nice feature, you have the peaking function. That's new. You have in the EP5 the peaking function, and the peaking function helps you if you use the manual focus. So let's have a quick look in the menu. You may know the menus from the other Olympus, and the EP5 menu is exactly the same. You have the two shooting menus on top, then you have the playback menu, you have the custom menu, the accessory port menu, and the setup menu. One important thing, if you don't see the accessory port and the custom menu when you start the camera, then here on this side we have the menu display, and here you have to activate the menu, both menus. So I show you what this means. If they are off, it looks like this. So you only have 4 points on the side and not the 6 points. So just go again into the menu and you have to activate the menu display. That's what I want to do here. Again, on and on. So, and now you see we just have the 6 points on the menu line. And then if you go to the custom menu, in the custom menu you have the most important settings for the camera, because these are the settings where you can customize the camera very very clear on your demand, so you can put all the points together which you want. You can change every setting or almost every setting on the camera. So let's have a quick look through the custom menu, because they are, I think, almost 80 points. So it would take a lot of time to show you all the points. But let's have a quick look for the different points. You have the AF mode, you have bulk time focus, you can change the direction of the focus ring, the manual focus assistant you have. If you go there, you see we have the magnification and we have the peaking. So if you put the magnification on and the peaking on, I can show you later how you will see in the manual focusing how this looks like. Then you have the AF illumination, so that's the small light here in front of the camera where you can use the AF help light if it's a very dark situation and you want to use the autofocus face priority. Then you have the different button function. If you go here, you see we have the different button functions. You can customize the function. This one, the FN button, this one on top. The other you see, that's the function button here. That's for peaking, rec, and on and on and on. So you have all the different buttons which you can customize and put the menu point on the button you want to have. The dial function, that's very nice. That's what I said before. You have the two dials, one in front and one on the back side of the camera. And if you use the dial function, you can set the dial function for the different program modes. So if you're in P like program, you see you have on the back dial the program shift, and on the front dial you have the exposure correction. If you go to the like manual, you have on the back side the shutter speed, and on the front side you have the aperture. So these are the different settings. So that's very nice because you can customize the dials. But as I said before, you have the small lever here where you can change the functions. So if you go to the lever function, and you will see you have different modes, and in the mode 1 you have on 1 the function you chosen before in the menu I showed you before, and in the lever mode 2 you have the ISO sensitivity and the white balance on the front or back dial. You can change this in 4 different ways, so you can customize the function of the lever. Very good. I show you how this will works later on, so you will see how fast you can change the most important settings. So here we have the different shutter release points. We have the speed of the 5 frames per second in low speed, and high speed 9 frames per second. You can make the setting by yourself if you want to have a slower speed or in the different settings. Then we go up to the display mode. You have the HDMI video out for NTSC or PAL, the European or the American television system. You have the control settings. I will go later onto the control setting because this is a very important point, and I will show you what you can change in the control setting. You have the display grid. You have different display grids you can choose from. Picture mode setting, histogram setting, live view. Then you have the art LV mode where you can see the art filters, flicker reduction. Peaking setting is, in this case, it's white. You can change between black, white. I choose normally white because it's better to see. Backlit LCD, sleep, auto power off, USB mode. You can set the steps from 1/3 to, I think you can change between 1/3, half and 1 step. Noise reduction, noise filter, ISO setting. You have the different ISO setting for ISO and ISO auto, different meter. Then you have the bulb timer, live bulb. That's a very nice feature, live bulb. The bulb functions mean you press the shutter release and the camera starts the exposure when you press, and you can stop the exposure on a time you want to set by yourself. So you can make an exposure like 1 minute, 2 minutes, or longer, as long as you want. And the good thing in the live bulb, you will see on the back side of the screen how the picture grows. So the light comes in the camera and the picture gets lighter, lighter and lighter, and on a certain point you have the perfect image on the screen, and you can stop the bulb function, and so you see the result before. It's not like pressing the button and thinking, oh, it might take 10 seconds or a minute or 2 minutes, I don't know. In the live bulb you see the result during the exposure on the screen. So that's a very nice feature if you're a fan, or if you like the long exposure things like nightlife in the city, or with the cars, and you see the lines of the backlights of the car. And the bulb function gives you very good help to find the perfect exposure time of the camera without making a lot of pictures, because you see the result just in time on the screen. And that's called a live bulb. Very nice feature. I like this one very much. The flash synchronization, one of 320th of second for the internal flash. Then we have the different settings of the resolutions of the camera, for the different resolutions of the megapixel, pixel count, shading compensation, white balance. You have the different settings for the white balance, and you can adjust them very exactly. So you can make very exactly. You see, we can change the value from, let's see, from what's the lowest value. Lowest value is it goes down to 2000 Kelvin, I think, up to 10,000 Kelvin. You can change the settings. So let's go to auto. Then we have again the color space, sRGB or Adobe RGB, quick erase, RAW and JPEG erase. So you can say if you want to erase pictures, if the camera only should erase the JPEG or the RAW or both of them. You have the file names. You have the copyright setting, video mode. They have different video mode. We have movie effects you can choose from, and yeah, these are the most important settings of the camera. Coming back to the dials in front and the back side, I show you in the manual mode, because in the manual mode it's very easy to show how this works. In the manual mode, you see you have the shutter speed and the aperture. So, and if you turn the front dial, you see the aperture changed, and if you turn the back dial, you see the shutter speed changed. Now we have the correct exposure. If you turn the lever from 1 to 2, you see the light, it lightened up in yellow the ISO, and it lightened up in yellow the white balance. So on the front dial we have the ISO value, and on the back dial we have the white balance value. So you can change ISO and white balance very fast just by turning the lever from 1 to 2, and you can go back to aperture and shutter speed. Now you're again shutter speed and aperture, turn the lever to 2, and you're on ISO setting and white balance. I like this function very much because on the click with your thumb you have the combination of 4 different settings, and it's very easy to change between these settings. You don't have to press a button, it's just like hold the camera and you see it's very easy to move the lever with your thumb, and you can change between these both settings. So that's a very, very nice feature. And one thing I want to show you, I told you before and I want to show you now, is in the custom menu. If you go to the display, the control setting. Control setting means you have for the iAuto, PASM, art and scene, you have different settings. You have the live guide, live control and live scene. So I would suggest that you put all the 3 parts to on, and I show you how this will work and what this means if you have all the 3 settings on. Let's go to the art filter, because there I can show you in the best way. So if you go to the art filter and want to change one of the settings, you just take pictures. And I want to change something, just press the OK button. And if you press the OK button, you're just in the settings of the art filter. So you can change the art filter and you can change the setting of the art filter. One important thing, because only few people know that you can change the setting of the art filter. Just press again the OK button, and if you see there the little sign on the bottom of the display, just press the button and you see, oh sorry, that was a little bit too late. Just press the button and you see you have different settings in this art filter. So you don't have only the art filter by itself, but you have different settings in the art filter. Always when you see this sign in the art filter, and I think it's for every art filter, yes, you can change gentle sepia. You press the button and you see you have different settings for these art filter, and you see if you change the settings you will see a little bit difference in the pictures, so you can make different settings in the art filters. If you're like in the dramatic tone, you see we have different settings in the dramatic tone, and you see there are you see the result directly on the screen. You have the different settings of the art filter. So this is the one point. So if you press the OK button, you're in the art filter, and if you press the info button, you see you have the most important settings of the camera on the side. Press the info button again. You have the full screen, the mega menu on the screen, and one good thing, the mega menu is a touch screen menu, so you can put if you want to change the ISO, just press the ISO button on the screen and then you turn the dial on the front of the camera and you see you can change the ISO settings. So that's very nice. You want to change the different focus things, just press the focus and turn the dial and you have the different settings for the focus method. So, and back to the info button, you have the art filters, press the info button again, you have the settings on the side, and on the bottom you have the value you want to change. And this works very nice. Just turn the, oops, a little bit too late. Just turn the back dial and you change the point, and turn the front dial and you change the setting. So that's very easy, and this you only will get if you make the choice in the individual setting menu and put all the 3 points to on, and then you can change with the info button, and then you can change with the info button the different individual settings to change the settings of the camera. So one important point, don't forget it, I show you again, in the menu, just go to the custom menu, display and control setting, and here you can change the settings for each individual program of the camera. So one important point, this is a nice feature because you can use the touch screen to change the settings. Next point, you see here on top, there's a small sign which says Wi-Fi. Yes, in the EP5 there is a Wi-Fi module built in, so you can use your smartphone, and this works very easy because they don't have an NFC chip. You may know the NFC chip from the Panasonic cameras and the newer Sony models. They have an NFC chip, near field communication. If you have a smartphone also with an NFC chip, you only have to put the smartphone on the side of the camera, bottom of the camera, and they communicate, and they put the WLAN settings in the camera, put the WLAN settings to the smartphone, and they communicate together, and they make the settings and connect both the camera and the smartphone. So Olympus use another way, and they use an QR code. So if you go to the replay menu, you have here the connection to smartphone, and if you press connection to smartphone, then it takes some seconds and you will see there is a QR code. And it's very easy, because if you have a smartphone, just go in the Olympus app. You see here's the QShare Olympus app. Go on the Olympus app, and usually if you're using this the first time, I have connected both together, but if you use it is the first time, the app says I want it. Here we go. The app says scan the QR code, and we make the connection. So I've done this before, so the two devices are connected. So the only thing I have to do now, because they know each other, the only thing I have to do now is just go to the Wi-Fi menu of the iPhone. Just a second. Just go to the Wi-Fi setting. Here we are, WLAN, Wi-Fi, and then press the Wi-Fi setting. It's in German, but you see here is the EP5. So I connect with the EP5. It takes some seconds, and now we have the connection to the Olympus. I hope so. Just see, yes. Here we are, and now we connected to the Olympus, and now you have to go to the Olympus app, and you see here we are, and it says, just a second, I have to go to the home button because I used something. You see it says on the bottom of the camera. And if you want to look which camera it is, you see here we are, EP5. So, and now you can use the remote control. In Germany it says Fernbedienung, remote control. Just press on the remote control and they make the connection. And now you see here we are. Oops, sorry. And here we are on the remote, on the smartphone. Here is the camera, you see me on the camera, and this is the smartphone where you see the picture. And you can use it also like on pressing, just putting the finger on the screen, and the camera makes a picture. So, and again, just go back to the photo function, and again I just press on the screen and the camera makes a picture. So that's very easy. One thing, you can change a lot of settings, because only the self timer you can change, but not more. So you can change like aperture, shutter speed or something like this. So it's a very simple remote control. Next point is you can import pictures. Photos import here and import pictures. Just press on this button and you see here are the pictures which are on the SD card of the camera, and you can move the pictures from the camera to the smartphone and use it there. Next point is you can Foto bearbeiten, means you can work on the photos, like make lighter or stuff like this. And one thing very interesting is geotag hinzufügen, means GPS tags. You can use your smartphone like a GPS tagger, and if you have started this function, the smartphone saves the GPS data, and you can transfer the GPS data from your smartphone to the Olympus. And if you have taken some pictures in the meantime, or in the meanwhile, you will get the GPS data on the pictures which you have taken on the Olympus. So the Olympus by herself doesn't have a GPS logger, but with the smartphone on your hand or in your pocket, you can use a GPS tagger with a smartphone, or the smartphone is a GPS tagger, and you can combine both the pictures from the camera with the GPS data from the smartphone, and you have the GPS data in the pictures. So I think that's a very nice thing. The GPS functionality of the remote control is a little bit low level, but I think it's in the beginning, so it's a first camera from Olympus with a Wi-Fi module inside. So I think the VLAN the Wi-Fi functions are getting more and more with every firmware release. So maybe there's coming a little bit more, like shutter, like aperture on or shutter speed or something like that. Maybe you can change the white balance or stuff like that. I think it will comes up in the next few months or next years, when Olympus makes new firmware and makes a little bit more function of Wi-Fi in the camera. Yeah, so these were the main functions, but one important thing is Olympus has a new electronic viewfinder, so that's the VF4, and this one is a real nice viewfinder because it's very bright, it has a real large picture, it has an electronic switch, so if you move your eye in front of the viewfinder, it changes from the display to the viewfinder, and the picture is real big. So I give you an idea how big it is. You see, if you look through the viewfinder, you see, even if I go very close to my camcorder, you won't see the whole picture in the camcorder. So, and I can compare it to the old one, that's the VF3. You see in front, it's a very big difference. And also, if you use the old viewfinder, I put it here on the PL5, so I can give you an idea how small this one is. Just a second, I have to turn the lens on. So, and if you see here, if you see through the camcorder, you see the camcorder takes the whole picture of the old viewfinder. The new viewfinder, you only saw the center of the new viewfinder. The old one is a little bit smaller, it's not so bright, and I like the new one very much because it gives you a real nice picture, and you can work very perfect with this viewfinder. You can see everything, and if you work with I can show you also with the manual focus. Let's change to the manual focus. Just give me a second. Here we are, and now we go to manual focus. If you use the manual focus and turn the manual focus ring on the lens, you see how the magnification is. I have to change it. It's a little bit too great. You see, if I turn the front dial here, you see, if I turn the front dial, the magnification changed from 5 times up to, I think, 40 times. So let's see if I, and here you have the you see the peaking function. So if I go to this and I have to move a little bit more in the wide angle, and then you see here, we see here, and if I turn now we are sharp, and you see the peaking function, you see the white lines around the point where the camera is sharp, or the focus is sharp, is perfect. You see the white line. So this is the peaking function. So it's very easy just by turning the dial. And if you use the if you use a lens like this, a 12mm lens, you have one big advantage, because by the 12mm lens you change from manual focus to autofocus just by moving the ring backwards or forwards. So you have the manual focus, and in the front position you have the autofocus. So you don't have to change it in the menu. That's very, very nice. That's very, very nice. So if you're here in the setting SAF and manual focus, just if you use the camera like this, you are in the manual focus. You see, if you are like in the setting like this, you are in the autofocus, and just by turning the dial you go in the manual focus. You don't have to do anything else. So that's very nice. I like this very much because I like to change between the two modes. It's very, very easy. You don't have to go into the menu. Yeah, so these are the most important points of the new camera. One important thing is the shortest shutter release time is 1/8,000th of a second. What would you need this? First time to freeze something like water or something like that, a fast car, or, I don't know, but you can freeze almost everything with 1/8,000th of a second. And the next point, if you want to take pictures out in the bright sunlight with a very open aperture like f2.0, you need a real short shutter time, because otherwise you will overexpose the picture. So even if the sun is a little bit brighter in the summer, and you want to take with ISO 100 and aperture f2.0 picture, you need a shutter release time of, I think, 1/2000th or 1/4000th. So this is the reason why Olympus went up to 1/8000th of a second for the shortest shutter release time. Yeah, so these are the most important points of the Olympus PEN E-P5. I think it's a real nice camera, and if you ask me which one would I prefer, the EP5 or the OMD, it's very difficult to say. The OMD is sealed against water and dust, so it's a little bit more an outer camera, but it's a little bit bigger, it's a little bit higher. You can use the extra battery grip under the OMD, so it's a little bit more bigger, it's a little bit more professional, I think. But if you're on holiday, and if you're out and you want to take picture without being recognized, I think the EP5 is a little bit better because it's smaller. It's a little bit, it's not a real big professional camera, but it has the quality of a professional camera, and it has a short shutter release time, and they have the Wi-Fi function. So it's a professional, but it doesn't have the look of a professional. And what I like very much is the extra electronic viewfinder. It's a small one, I can put it in my pocket, and if I don't need it and I want to only take pictures like this, I don't need the electronic viewfinder, but I want to compose a picture, go with the depth of field very exactly and very precise, and the sun is out, I don't see enough on the LCD screen. I need the electronic viewfinder, and I have the electronic viewfinder, and it's a real good electronic viewfinder. So it's very difficult to decide between the OMD and the EP5, but in my opinion I like the EP5 a little bit more because it's the design is very nice. It's a very straight but old-fashioned design. It's very good in my hand, and I like the two dials, the one in front and one in the back side. I like the two dials very much. So in my opinion I would prefer the new one, EP5. But more or less the OMD is a very, very good camera, and if you work a lot of outside, and if you're a hiker or a biker and you have not always a bright sun but you have some rain or something like that, the OMD is a little bit more tough than the EP5 because of the resistance against water and dust. Yeah, so this is my review. Talking about the picture quality, that's one important point. The last point of my review, talking about the picture quality between OMD and EP5 and all the other cameras is almost exactly the same, because they use all the same sensor, the same Micro Four Thirds sensor, so there's no difference between the cameras. Difference is between the shutter release time, not the time, but the lag between pressing the button and the release of the camera. The EP5 is a little bit faster, but I think the difference is so minimal. The difference is so less. So both of the cameras, the OMD and the EP5, are very fast cameras. Talking about the lag between pressing the shutter, pressing the button and the exposure. So I think that's not a real big difference. This one might be a little bit faster, but the difference is not real big. Yeah, so these are the most important things about the new camera. Hope you enjoyed my review. On my internet site, still only in German, there's a complete review with the pictures in the different ISO settings, so you can compare the different ISO qualities. On my Flickr account you will see the pictures in full resolution, so you can compare the different ISO settings there too. Yeah, thanks for watching my YouTube video. There are coming up some more videos in the next days, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it helps you a little bit better to understand the difference between the OMD and the EP5, and I hope you like the EP5 like I, because it's a real nice camera, and Olympus goes in the right direction with this new one. Yeah, so come back again on my YouTube channel, have some fun, take some nice pictures. Until now I say moin moin.